Welcome to our daily Forex market analysis, and this is for trading on June the 22nd, 2021. Just a quick disclaimer here before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. As usual, we'll start off by taking a look at our calendar here. So in terms of the news that's coming up here on Tuesday, so not a whole lot of well, actually, there's some news that's not marked as yellow. So consumer confidence numbers are important. In this case, if it's going in the right direction, that's a good thing for Euro. Now, big thing here would be Fed Chair Powell testifying. So Powell's going to testify and he will talk about the state of the economy. Now, this can be market moving. So we did see that the Fed wants to they talked about pulling forward the dates when they're going to raise rates. Now, if his testimony lines up with what the Fed statement was, that would be a positive thing, and we could see the US dollar get better again, so it could turn bullish. But really, if there are problems with the recovery, that will be a negative thing for the US dollar. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. And then, of course, we have manufacturing PMI numbers here for Australia. Monetary policy meeting minutes here. So Japan, Bank of Japan, at this point, I wouldn't expect them to be tightening the monetary policy, but just like all the other banks, if they start talking about it, that would be a positive thing. So anytime they talk about raising interest rates, Bank of Japan hasn't raised in years. So I wouldn't expect that. But if they talk about tightening the monetary policy in terms of how much support, how much money they're putting into the market, that will have an impact. So anytime there's tightening, it's good for the currency. And then, of course, we have PMI numbers, and then we have Reserve Bank of Australia, Assistant Governor Ellis speaking. So at this point, the main focus will be on how they are viewing the recovery, and are they talking about changing the monetary policy in that respect. So we will keep an eye on those. Let's go on to our charts here. We'll start off with euro dollar. So euro dollar, we saw this pullback. We talked about pullbacks on the weekend in regards to our weekly analysis. So this here is at an important level here in terms of the pullback. We see price is at a level where it has reacted. So on the way up, it bounced off of this level. Same thing here, it struggled with it and then bounced off of this level. Now we are at the same level on the way down. So in this case, we could see something like this. And a drop from here. So tomorrow, Powell's testimony will definitely be something to keep an eye on here. So with the euro dollar, if it stays below 1.1925, if it manages to hold below this, then we're looking for a retest of the low here at 1.1850, but do expect volatility in all the dollar crosses tomorrow with Powell testimony coming up. So right now, my bias is neutral. Now, the reason it's neutral is because there is more room for pullbacks. It could go into the next level here at 1.1950. So something like this could happen, or it could go all the way in here. So we don't know if the pullback has finished or the price has finished pulling back. Because this is basically what can happen. It can pull back and then pull back, even have a deeper pullback before it drops. Because the drop was a fair bit, the pullback can be fair bit as well. So that's what we are trying to gauge here. If it holds below 1.1925, then it can just drop from here. But in my opinion, it could give a deeper pullback either into 1.1950 or into 1.1985. So that's something to watch out. So right now, neutral bias here. And if it holds below, then we will target the low. Pound here, pound as well had a pullback, and as expected, pullback in all the dollar crosses. So in this case here, again, we are at an important level where price has reacted previously, but there's also another level where price has clearly reacted multiple times. So in this case as well, I'm neutral on this. I think we could see a deeper pullback into 1.40. And if it holds here, we are looking for a drop from here. So right now I'm neutral on this because it could turn just where it is, or it could go a little bit higher. And this is where patience is likely to be rewarded. So right now, neutral bias, and I'm just waiting to see where the pullback will come to. Aussie dollar, same thing here. As we can see, price had dropped a fair bit, quite a bit, a big move here. So similar to this one here, right? Price had dropped, and then see how big of a pullback this was, almost a 50% pullback, right? And then it dropped again. So this is the type of thing that I'm looking for here as well. Now we need to see prices into an important support resistance level. As we can see, this is a clear level where price has just struggled. So it held above this level on the when it was above this. Now that it has dropped through it, can it make through the level again? So that's an important question. If it holds below 0.7560, we're basically looking for a continuation to the downside here. So right now for this as well, bias is neutral. It can pull back higher, potentially, sorry, excuse me, potentially into 0.7620, but this is a good level where it is currently. And if it holds below, we will be looking for a continuation. So neutral bias, just watch out to see if it will pull back further. So neutral bias for Aussie dollar as well. New Zealand dollar, same thing here. As we can see, price has pulled back, and in this case, price is getting stuck below 0.7020. And this is where if it holds below 0.7020, we would be looking for a move lower. But similar to what we saw for Aussie dollar here, this one can pull back a little bit higher as well towards 0.7068. So back into this area. So I'm going to leave these in here and see which one it wants to react at. But watch out for something like this. Price may just come into 0.7020 and then drop from there. So neutral bias for now for New Zealand dollar. Dollar CAD here, same thing. As we can see, price came into the resistance here. This was a strong resistance, and now we have a drop. So in this case, I'm looking for a continuation here towards the downside, 1.2260. So bias is bearish here for dollar CAD, and first target 1.2320 and then 1.2265. So bearish bias for dollar CAD. All right, let's take a look at our commodities here. Looking at silver. Silver is looking neutral right now. We did have this big drop, but it's bouncing back. So today's candle close is not very strong. It is not giving very strong bullish signal or bearish signal at this point. So right now it's into resistance. This is a strong support resistance level. Prices reacted, like as we can see here, many times. So if it doesn't go through, we are back into the drop again. However, be mindful that we could see a pullback all the way into this 26.40 level. So there is definitely room to the upside. And if it manages to get through 26, then 26.40 will be the next target. But right now, we could see this one turn because the candle is not very strong. So neutral bias here for silver, 25.50 is the target here. Gold has also pulled back. As we can see, we did have that bullish here move, but the concern again is we are right into resistance. So this is where price is struggling. And if it doesn't go through today's high, we can see a continuation. However, with this big drop here, there is definitely room here. 1808 is the next target here, so it can go up further before it turns around. So watch out for this big pullback here that can happen. So right now, neutral bias. but it could go up a bit more. So neutral bias for gold. Oil here. Oil has been looking bullish here. Overall, it's been maintaining its bullishness. And this is why Canadian dollar has been, excuse me, doing well. So oil is into levels we haven't seen since 2018. So with this here, there is further room. It's still holding on to that bullish bias here. So next target here is 74 and then 75. So bullish bias for oil. Copper here, copper pulling back as well. We saw that big drop and there is more room for this to pull back. Target here is 4.21. So again, I'm seeing this more of a pullback rather than a real bullishness in the price. But like I said, there is more room for it to pull back. So 4.20 is the target. So neutral to bullish bias here for copper. Bitcoin here really struggling, even though other things are turning around here. Bitcoin has not done that. It's been stuck in this range for quite some time, and we could see a fair bit of drop here. That's where we have to be careful. So it's stuck here for a long time, and then look at this drop. So right now we are seeing a strong move to the downside here, and with other crosses, we have seen a turnaround. This one, actually, we have seen the move accelerate. So it started off small and then got much bigger. Once it breaks through this, there is plenty of room to the downside. So bias here is bearish. Next target is 28,830. And then we are at 25,000. So about 26,000. So bearish bias here for Bitcoin. So just this move through the support can trigger a lot of stop losses. Stop losses. And then the trades will get closed, which will push them which can basically just cause it to free fall like it did here. So just watch out for that. Same thing here. We saw it hold and then just drop. And if it goes through here, we could expect another drop. So bias is bearish for Bitcoin. S&P 500, as we can see, price has turned around. And we are looking, this is looking quite bullish. Next target here is 42.65, which is the top of the range. Now with this here, Powell's testimony will come into play if he talks about raising rates and tightening the monetary policy, and there's a lot of emphasis on that. That would be bad for the stock market. But the recovery, but if he talks favorably about the economic recovery in the US, that would be a positive sign. So with this right now, it does look bullish. Next target is 42.65, but just keep that in mind. And then Nasdaq here as well. Nasdaq also looking bullish. I would look at the retest of the high at 14,200 and then potentially into 14,300 is the next target. So bullish bias here for Nasdaq. Dow Jones here, this is also looking bullish. As we can see, price has bounced off quite a bit. Next target here is 34,300. So bullish bias here for Dow Jones. DAX also looking quite robust here. Bias is bullish. Next target here is 15,700. And then above that, we're looking at 15,800. So bias is bullish for DAX as well. FTSE here, FTSE looking quite bullish as well. Next target here is 71.25. So bullish bias. And above that, we are into 71.80. So bullish bias for FTSE as well. And then Nikkei here, Nikkei also looking bullish, but Nikkei, we are into an important support resistance level. This is where, again, an area where price has struggled a bit. And here we are. It struggled here and struggled here, struggled here. So in this case, we have to be careful. because it could bounce off of this level. So even though we have seen a big move to the upside, we are right into resistance. So right now, my bias for FTSE is neutral. We just need to see which direction it chooses based on where it stays in relation to this 28,800 level. If it holds below, then we are looking for a drop back down. But if it manages to push through, then we will target the top of this candle, and we are likely to see the candle get filled. This is an inefficient move, so that could get filled. All right, so that's it for today. You guys have a wonderful trading day. Watch out for Powell's testimony. It is likely to create all kinds of volatility across the different asset classes. Okay, have a wonderful trading day, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.